Seems like it, right? Hey everybody, Vaguely Supportive Cop here. Hang on a second. So, I'm trimming up the beginning of the episode, today's episode of Bright Eyes, Full Hearts Can't Lose, because there was this lengthy section where I read to Morgan a passage from Jonathan Franzen's novel Freedom. And, it was about as exciting as it sounds. But here's the thing. Listen, in around page 369 of Jonathan Franzen's novel, the characters in the book go to a Bright Eyes concert in the Lifted era. So I thought it was worthy of our attention. There's some interesting stuff in there. Connor Oberst appears bodily in the novel and takes the stage in a powder blue tuxedo. All of the characters admit that he is extremely talented. The main character seems to admit it very grudgingly. There's also shit like he observes the audience members and refers to them as bright-eyed and bushless-tailed, which is like gross, Jonathan Franzen. But like everybody else of this generation, Jonathan Franzen, Aaron Sorkin, I think there actually is a lot of self-critique built in that their critics miss. And I also think there's a lot of real insight. It just comes in an unexpected way. So a person who's not the main character is talking about Connor Oberst, and this is what he says about Lifted. "They're all about belief," Walter said. "The new record's this incredible kind of pantheistic effort to keep believing in something in a world full of death. Oberst works the word lift into every song. That's the name of the record, Lifted. It's like religion without the bullshit of religious dogma." And I thought that was pretty good.
Goes on forever and ever and ever.
Okay, so hurry up and run to the one that you love and blind him with your kindness, and he'll make war on who you were before. He'll claim all that I spoil in your heart. Yeah, he'll claim all that I spoil in your heart.
Okay, so we're here now. We're here. It's Lifted Part 2.
Yes.
We're here to talk about the second half of the greatest album of all time, but not necessarily the best Bright Eyes album.
Yeah, right.
Lifted or The
Yes.
Stories in the Soil. Keep your ear to the ground.
All of that is true.
So, what has happened since we last spoke?
You want to launch right into Kanye?
Oh, sure. So
what did you want? What did you want me to?
that
did
works.
I just
Anything.
spoiler alert?
No, anything. That's great.
Let's do Kanye.
So this is going to be a new segment on the show where we talk about the stuff that we've been listening to lately. It's a segment called "I Woke Up with This Song in My Head This Morning."
I woke up with this song in my head this morning. I woke up with this song in my head this morning.
So let me just say this.
Okay.
The age-old question has always been, can you separate the art from the artist? Do great works of art overshadow bad personal deeds? Historically, the answer has pretty much always been yes. Every famous piece of classical music was written by like a racist or an anti-Semite, and every painting in every museum was painted by a domestic abuser, probably. But has that changed in the modern era? Has the tide turned? Is that good or bad? Kanye West has, for many years, seemingly deliberately provoked this and like a related family of questions all the time. Can you separate the art from the artist? Is the art the artist? What's performance and what's real? What's intentional and what's accidental? They're very tough questions. And the good news is we don't have to ask ourselves any of these questions when it comes to Ye, because it's a garbage album by a garbage person.
First of all, Kanye West, you and I have always been strong supporters of Kanye West.
Yes, until very recently.
Well, he can do whatever he wants, kind of, was our opinion, okay?
Yes.
Because it came down to, okay, so what do we want? We want him to be awesome and you know, performing awesome songs. Kanye West being in the public eye usually relates to him having an album of some kind, and usually relates to him doing something bad.
It is the Kanye West cycle. He does a shitty thing.
Bad.
He puts
and then
out good
like,
music.
But remember, you
Yes.
like my music.
So a funny thing happened this time, though.
Yeah.
Because Ye came out and it was nothing. Not much.
Right.
You know? I've heard people say they like Ghost Town. I don't really get Ghost Town.
Okay. I think that Ye is okay. I think that his focus was elsewhere.
Weigh all the options. Nothing's off the table.
Okay, so first of all, let's never consider it a Kanye West album. It's not a full album.
No.
And it shouldn't be put on the same list of full-length albums. You know, it is not follow-up to, what was the last one?
Life of Pablo.
Life of Pablo. It's not follow-up. It's a 7-song little thing. I never
I
referred
think-
to the
well-
7 for 7 as full-length albums.
I think in general, hip-hop artists are sort of doing away with the idea of an album. You know, like they acted
not
like
Kanye
Scorpion.
West.
They acted like Scorpion by Drake was like, oh, hey, finally a new album from Drake. And I was like, what? Drake's been putting out music non-stop.
Yes. We're going to talk about Drake in a minute. So Kanye, the thing with him is, okay, so he did pretty much the worst thing that he could have done, in my mind.
Which thing?
Supporting Donald Trump.
Supporting Donald Trump, saying slavery was a choice.
Oh, well, slavery being a choice is very much, I feel like I would care more if I were black, because that
Sure.
feels like a personal betrayal.
The
right?
thing is, it's not if it was just supporting Donald Trump, that would be one thing. But if he wasn't like constantly spouting like red pill bullshit online now, then that would be, you know, then his support of Donald Trump could be like in the same way that David Lynch did not say anything in support of Donald Trump, but was like, hey, you never know what might happen.
Okay,
this might
here's
be
the thing
good.
with the whole supporting of Donald Trump, though. It's like Kanye West. Like, if you're mad at Kanye West for that, why are you mad at him? Because nothing he does matters. Like in his whole life, if it's not the music, like everything he's doing is for show. I honestly don't think that he really considers his life like his own life. I think he considers it all like this thing. I don't know.
I
don't
can't
know
tell.
what his deal is.
I would like it if Kanye West were basically trying to test how far he could possibly go and still win back support through his music.
Yeah.
That is what I've always thought Kanye West was doing. I no longer believe that's what Kanye West is doing. I now believe that Kanye West is just a Reddit, YouTube, red pill dumbass. And
Yeah, I think
it's too bad.
I think it's part of that.
A lot of
I think it's part of that.
a lot of smart men have gone that way, you
Yeah.
know, and it happened to him too. And it's like, oh well, what are you gonna do? You know, I saw the way he responded to John Legend and everything, and it's like, this is a person who can no longer be reached. You know, there's a reason that Jay-Z doesn't and Kanye West do not really associate with each other anymore.
Yeah.
He just is a person who can no longer. He's gone. He's been lost to the internet intellectuals.
Sorry, Mr. West is gone.
That said, kids see ghost. Fire emoji. Fire emoji. Fire emoji.
Yeah. Kids See Ghosts is awesome.
I enjoyed the text that you sent me. And this is going to go in the Hall of Fame of podcast text. When you sent me a link to Kids See Ghost, and you said, "Get ready to eat your hat, little."
Well, you had already been very open about hating Ye.
Yes, I had.
That was immediately followed up. So I think it's worth it to address what he did. No one's ever done this before, man. Like, yeah, he's going crazy in his regular life, but he was able to get these people who haven't released albums in years to work on this, like, kind of hand-in-hand collaboration, even though it's indirectly with a lot of them. So he released, first it's Ye, then second was Daytona.
I think actually Daytona might have been first,
So Daytona.
which was fucking great.
Yeah,
like,
I really like.
Spoiler alert, of all the ones that I've heard so far, Daytona's my favorite.
I like Kids See Ghost the best.
Mm-hmm.
And I also and then so then Kid
If You
See
Know,
Ghost
You
comes
Know
out,
is
which
my
is
number
which
one
is Kid
track from
Cudi,
all this shit.
Kid Cudi and Kanye West. My number one track out of all of it is I'm so reborn. How does
It's
that
called
song go?
Reborn.
Yeah. That song's incredible.
I like that one a lot. I'm sure you know this, but I love Fourth Dimension that has that Santa Claus sample that reverses. Any music that has partially reversed
That gets
clips
you.
or music
yeah,
always.
I know.
That's why Doctor Strange will always have my favorite action sequence in all of the Marvel universe.
So it's that, and then it's the Nas album Nazir, which is great. I think that one important thing when it comes to listening to Nas is that like a lot of his stuff sounds the same. It's all really good.
Sure.
But in my mind, he kind of has this like flow that he's developed, and that being said, everybody go out and buy yourselves Distant Relatives, or obviously don't buy it. Just go on Spotify like everybody else.
Yeah, you've actually talked about that one before on here, Distant Relatives.
Distant Relatives by Damian Marley and Nas is the best album. It's the best rap album of. No, it's not. It's one of the best albums of all time. I love that album. Ooh. So I want to ask you. This is out of place. It's not. Have you heard the Bright Eyes song Singularity?
Yes.
And in a real world or in the real world?
I think they were the B-sides on
singles off
the
of
Shell
People's
Games.
Key.
Yeah, Shell Games single.
I never heard them. I heard them today.
I was thinking about this in general because I don't know if you saw my texts, but I was thinking that our next episode we should do Every Day and Every Night, and There's No Beginning to the Story.
I was too stoned to respond.
Aha. Well, the trick though is, I mean, my problem was some of those are like not on Spotify, Apple Music, whatever, but they're all on YouTube.
That's a good point.
Like worst case scenario, they're all on YouTube.
Well, we have like all of them pretty much.
Oh no, I was thinking about listeners.
Oh.
So, because I don't know how people do this, some people listen before the episode, some people listen after the episode. I got some tweets from Jess, who's my buddy on Untapped, the beer app, but she said this is the first episode, this one today, will be the first episode she's ever heard where she's listened to the music beforehand. So up until now, she was waiting until the episode came out and then listened to the album, which I think is a totally valid, I think there's no wrong way to eat a Reese's here.
Yeah. I agree.
So I think that's cool. So, but anyway, in terms of if you listen beforehand, the next episode is going to be Every Day and Every Night, and There's No Beginning to the Story. So look those up and listen to those, or wait, depending upon your style.
Hey, we were right in the middle of I woke up with my song in the set.
Yeah, let's go back to our other segment.
What else are you listening to?
Okay, so I have been listening to, what did I write down? The new Annie Clark song, Fast Slow Disco. Have you heard it? What I said when I heard it the first time is I said, that's Annie Clark's new closer for the next 10 years. Like, that's what that song is. Because it's a awesome song. It was a good song on the album, but turning it into this, like, powerful, optimistic stomp was, like, exactly the right move.
Cool.
I've been listening to Phoebe Bridgers a lot, as usual. I love Phoebe Bridgers. She has, so I sent you a link. I don't know if you saw it. I'm going to put it in the notes for this episode so people will listen to this thing. Phoebe Bridgers and Noah Gunderson did this thing for NPR where they mashed their two songs up together. There's a Phoebe Bridgers song called Killer and a Noah Gunderson song called The Sound. And they play them together with just piano and their voices. And it is beautiful.
Cool.
Nothing ever comes if you call it. Choking like a dog on a collar. Open up your mouth if you want it. Listen for the sound is coming down.
Yeah, and I know that you were keeping tabs on my dad rock interest.
Yes.
I have been listening a lot to Rod Stewart's old band Faces. Old Rod Stewart, when he had like a band that really had some teeth behind them. Oh, so much fun.
In the morning, don't say you love me, 'cause I'll only kick you out of the door.
As far as the rest of the dad rock I've been listening to, when I was investigating I'm With Her for that Prescott Park concert that I didn't go to, I heard a cover of what turned out to be an Adele song called like Send My Love to Your New Lover or something like that. And I looked it up. That's a banger, man.
Dude, Adele fucking rocks.
Yeah,
bro.
Adele rules. That's a great song.
Yeah, nothing like a good Adele song.
Mm-hmm. And I've been listening, most recently, I guess I've been listening a lot to the Nick Cave album, Grinder Man 2.
See, I need to get into some Nick Cave.
Nick Cave's awesome.
I don't feel like I've ever really like taken in the album.
So,
you know?
well, are we going to make a playlist? Are we going to make a playlist for people to, like what we've been listening to?
Yeah,
I'm going to put some good Nick Cave songs on there.
That's one thing that we're going to start doing. This was a text this week between us was we want to come up with, along with this kind of segment where we talk about what we're listening to, we might do like not weekly, but episode-based playlists.
Episode-based playlists. Yeah.
So what I'm listening to right now is Gorillaz got a new album out this week.
Again?
Yeah. So,
Man.
surprise, like a month ago, they were like, oh, by the way, at the end of the month, we're going to drop a new album.
I love surprise album releases.
It's very like relaxed, and they got a good song called Hollywood with Snoop Dogg on it. It's called The Now Now is the name of the album. Dawes' new album, Passwords. Here's the thing with Dawes. I want to support them so strongly that I'm going everywhere and I'm like, you should listen to that new Dawes album. Because I'm like, these are Conor Oberst dudes.
Yeah.
They recognize the genius behind Conor Oberst enough where they were like, yeah, we'll be your fucking backing band. What are you, shitting me?
Yeah.
Like, no problem, we'll do that. So I'm like, big supporter. Now, also, there's a track on that album called Feed the Fire.
Trying to feed the fire without really knowing why. Trying to feed the fire while hoping that it dies.
That A, you need to listen to, and B, is going to be one of the random theme songs for Fire albums.
Oh, yeah, perfect.
Because it's got a great chorus. If you're not going to listen to the album, it's by the band Dawes. It's called Passwords. Just go there and listen to Feed the Fire. That'll be on my playlist. It's so good. That'll be the first track on my playlist.
All right.
Childish Gambino has 2 new songs out today.
Oh, really?
It's called he released it called the Summer Pack.
Yeah.
It's like they're called Summertime Magic and Feels Like Summer. And they're both like very like kind of slow jams. It's great.
Where do they fit in like on the spectrum of
They sound
summer
like,
camp
they sound
to
nothing like this is America. They sound like did you listen to that Kawhi
Yeah.
EP?
Yeah.
They sound like that.
It's too bad. I was really digging that This Is America thing. Like I love that the low end on that song that's a great driving song. This Is America.
But like the like kind of like slow grooves is where he really truly wants to be.
Yeah,
you can hear it throughout his career, and I'm like happy that that's what he's gonna do because that's what I want him to do.
Yeah.
That and also I have been a long proponent. As you guys know, I like to throw out my fucks. All right. Still fuck Justin Timberlake. That has not changed.
Are we unfucking somebody today?
Yes.
Okay.
Not someone that I have necessarily publicly said fuck this person on this podcast.
But someone that you have privately said fuck them.
I have always never been a supporter of Drake.
Ah, I see.
Ever.
Okay.
Ever.
Never been Team Drake.
No. Fuck Drake in general.
Yeah.
Okay? This album, maybe don't fuck Drake.
Scorpion?
Yeah, it's like good.
It is.
Now, here's the thing. It's because I have always chalked Drake up to be fucking garbage. So, lifting him up from fucking garbage is not that hard.
I have always liked Drake,
know?
but I have found I have had a hard time justifying why you ever need to listen to more than one Drake album. Like, I listened to Take Care a lot.
Okay.
And then I got whatever the follow-up to Take Care was.
Okay.
After that, and it was like, this is basically the same thing,
Okay,
minus
so
a couple
mine
of
is
hooks.
Scorpion.
Okay. So that's your one Drake
Because I
album.
think I like it.
I think everybody just
I've
needs
listened
one.
to it a few times. There was a few listens through where I was like, this isn't for me. And there were a few times where I was like, I get it.
Sure.
That being said, I still am not like sold on it.
I'm upset.
I don't really know what I like.
You can try and live darkness, but you will never shake the light. It will greet you every morning and make you more aware when its absence at night. And you're blanket, uncomfortable. But I've seen the tale you're
There's like a few tracks on Scorpion that sound like old Kanye, and I think that that's a big part of it.
Sure.
You know when you hear like an emo band that's like present day?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, well, somebody's got to be doing this.
Right.
That's what it sounds like when I hear Drake. I'm like, oh, well, Kanye West left this years ago. Someone has to be doing it, and it's Drake.
I can't remember the track, but on one song, Drake does a Mace verse from a Puff Daddy song, basically in full.
Who's hot, who not? Tell me who rock, who sell out in the store. You tell me who flop, who copped a new drop, who jewels got rocks, who else making rap albums doing numbers like it's pop. Same old pimp, Drake, you know ain't nothing changed with these funny style niggas we done put on in the game. I just asked for some blessings at my grandmother's grave, and it's back to
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I'm a fan of Drake now. That's where he won my heart.
Yeah, I mean, like, in general, kind of fuck Drake, but maybe don't.
Said Drake's abandoned son.
When you look up, when you're on Bright Eyes Lyric Genius,
Yeah.
and I was looking at, when you get to the bottom of the page, it says top, whatever the artist is, scholars. So it's a top Bright Eyes scholars.
Ah,
That's wrong. That's us.
we should be on there. We got to
We
get
should
in
be
there.
1 and 2.
So we got to start. I guess we got to get Genius memberships and start annotating.
And start
lyrics.
fucking just going after Bright Eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
Oh, man, I'll be-
top Bright Eyes scholars, guess what? That's us.
Yeah. I'll go
Do
in
you
there.
have a podcast about it, guy at number 1? No, you fucking don't.
I will edit the lyrics to Waste of Paint to say that when he's singing about his friend who's an artist, he says he once cut one of my nightmares out of paper. I thought it was beautiful, so I put it on a record cover. He's talking about every day and every night. And the artist he's talking about is a guy named Zach Nipper.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that
What
actual
does it say
person.
it is?
What is the what?
What does it Genius say it is? Oh, nothing.
I don't know.
It just doesn't know the person.
I don't know. I'm saying I know that offhand. That's in my knowledge base. So I will go load that to the internet, like the good person that I am, who wants to share my knowledge with the world, but in a unobtrusive way. You know, that's a nice thing about Genius, right? You can opt in to hearing what other people have to say about songs. You don't have to.
Yeah. The in general, I think.
Just like this podcast, you can listen to it when you want to. You don't have to listen to it right now. If you're listening to this right now and you're like, I don't know if I feel like hearing two guys talk about Bright Eyes for 2 hours, it's okay.
Yeah.
Pause it.
Yeah.
Go listen to fucking Pod Save America and come back.
No. Well. Yeah. Sure.
Listen to
I mean,
Love It or
listen to
Leave It.
whatever you want.
What do people? I'm just saying
I
statistically.
listen to. Have you heard of Lore?
No. No, I mean, yes, I have heard of it, and I might have subscribed to it once and then never listened to an episode.
I heard an interview with. We got somebody pulling in.
Yeah?
I listened to an interview with the host on Harmontown,
Maybe our guest is here.
and it was really good. I think our guest probably is here. Yeah.
It made me feel like Jimmy Pardo, you know, because we started the pod and then the guest comes. It's nice.
Well, we've pretty much nailed down all things that we needed to do, right? What else do you need
I
to
want to
say?
tell you this.
Okay.
I have discovered a profound alteration to the timeline of my Bright Eyes fandom.
Uh-oh. What?
Okay? So I was going through an old box of ticket stubs, and I found a ticket stub for the Alkaline Trio show that Christy and I went to the day that I bought Lifted.
Yeah.
Guess when that concert was?
When?
May 24th, 2003.
Holy shit!
That means that
You
I
bought
didn't
it, like-
start listening to Bright Eyes for a year after I thought I did. I was 16, not 15.
Oh.
Do you know the implications of this? I'm not even sure now when I lost my virginity.
I did not. I did not realize the gravity of your timeline.
Yeah, so the timeline, totally different. I started listening to Lifted almost a year after it was out.
Wow. That is troubling.
But that means that we were seeing Connor Oberst and the Monsters of Folk like 5 months later.
Yeah.
So like that's not only is it totally changed my own conception of my own past, but also it just goes to show how fast we fell into Connor Oberst, into the cult.
Yeah, that was quick.
Because 5 months later, Connor Oberst was walking down the aisle at the Somerville Theater, laying down in the aisle next to us while drunkenly singing Laura Laurent. And, you know, it was like being blessed by the Pope. I was baptized anew in the Church of Bright Eyes.
Yeah.
All love is dead without limit, like the surface of the moon, or the land between here and the mountains. Well, it's not these hiding places that have kept us innocent, but the way you taught me to just let it all go by.
All right, so welcome back to Bright Eyes, Full Hearts, Can't Lose. We are discussing the second half of the Bright Eyes album, Lifted. But we're going to talk about Bright Eyes in general now because we have a special guest here, our friend Paige. Hello, Paige.
Hi.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
You're also our first guest ever.
Yeah, first time
Really?
we ever had
Yeah.
a guest on the show.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
I'm so honored.
We're hoping to eventually convince some low-level member of Bright Eyes to talk to us, like
Yeah.
some...
I actually have an idea,
Flute player or
which is
whatever.
that Connor Oberst and the Mystic Valley Band are playing shows again together. Now, granted, it is all out west. But, that being said, I think that means that we're encroaching on some potentially new music out of them.
Sure.
You're telling me that we can't get one of the band members of the fucking Mystic Valley Band on here?
Macy
Of course
Taylor.
we can.
Let's get Macy
Of
Taylor.
course we fucking can.
Yeah.
We could literally call Nick Fritas or whatever the fuck his name
Sure.
is right now and be like, hey, you want to get interviewed, motherfucker?
Look
And he
over
would
the
be
phone
like,
book.
yes, please. I have a new album out. It's called Day and Night or something like that. And we'd be like, yeah, who gives a shit? Talk about what Connor Oberst is like, motherfucker.
That's all. So, if I could talk to anyone who worked on Lifted, that's all I want to know. Is like, what was it like recording this album? What was it like? Like, literally, what was it like when you woke up in the morning to when you went to sleep at night? Like, just tell me about it 9 to 5.
Yeah.
You know? When I've been doing this office hours thing with the podcast, I've just been asking people, like, what do you do for a job? And, like, just tell me about it. I just want to know about your job. Tell me about, like, the stuff people say. And that's what I want to know about Lifted. But anyway, you told me that Lifted was the first album that you ever bought for
Yeah.
Bright Eyes, right? Me too. When was that?
So I had heard Digital Ashes before,
Oh, interesting.
and I heard it because my high school boyfriend at the time, we were in his basement and he put on Digital Ashes and I loved it.
Wait, so you should have graduated. What year did you graduate high school?
2007.
Okay.
So, but he was older than me, so it was probably 2004 or 5.
2005 is when it came out, so
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, so I heard Digital Ashes, and it's actually kind of embarrassing because I went to this record shop down in Baltimore, and I wanted to buy a Bright Eye CD, and it was like, you could go, it's like, I feel like an old person, but you could go and like put the CD on and listen to it
Yeah,
Whoa!
before you bought it.
Yeah, remember that?
So I remember going, and I was like little, like a baby, and I had driven down, and I get there, and the guy was like this cool, it was like this really, Fells Point, and like really cool shop, and I was like super nervous, and I'm like, so I wanna get a Bright Eyes album, and I like I think he gave me Lifted, and I listened to it, and I was expecting, like, I didn't know anything other than what I heard.
If you all heard Digital Ash, then
Yeah,
Lifted
what a
would be
weird
crazy.
concept.
So I was like, do you have anything a little less like? I guess I said it was country, even though in my mind I was like,
sort of, right?
And I was like, do you have anything a little less country? And he looked at me like I had 10 heads, and I was like,
that sucks.
I know, and I was like really embarrassed, so I just bought it.
Yeah.
And so I had it in my car for a long time, and I didn't warm up to it right away. Like, I remember having a hard time getting through it, and I still, admittedly, haven't really listened to the first track all the way through. Like,
Interesting.
I just usually always...
I feel like it's time to go back.
Yeah, I agree.
Because, like, you've told me before, there are certain Conor Oberst songs that you said you really like,
Yeah.
like Milk Thistle and stuff, that truthfully are a little boring to me.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you're into that, then you should go back to the big picture and listen to it. Also, if only just for the way it's edited at the end.
Okay.
Because, like, the editing tricks of that song are worth appreciating it for that alone.
So I feel like for me with him, I feel like there have always been on most of the albums spaces where he goes into this like experimental sound. They become like sound pieces and almost standalone. And I'm kind of like, I really appreciate that you're doing this, and I appreciate this as it takes space in this. It's a part of a narrative that you've woven together, and it creates space. And I feel like when I get a sense of the space, I feel like I accept that that's what it is, and I'm like, you want to do this and like dabble and play and like use this as a creative space. I love that. Do it. I'm not sure I am connecting with it in the way that it was for you to make it, but I appreciate that it exists and that that's what it's doing.
I totally understand that, because I had a slightly different reaction, which was that I took all of the sound collages and editing moves of Conor Oberst as the way I wanted to do everything forever and have. So it's like, so podcasts, right? I have a hard time listening to podcasts now because I want podcasts to be a certain way where like stuff like that happens. I want podcasts to be noisy and weird and experimental, and they're not.
Yes. Hands down agree with you.
So, yeah.
Okay. But the thing
But I guess podcasts aren't albums.
Right, and I feel like, so I could talk at length, and this is like something that in the next phase of my life, whatever you want to call it, if you could phase it out that way, of like, I have this mission that I like want to be making podcasts that like anti-podcasts, because what's happening right now in podcasts is like outrageous to me and so frustrating, because nobody's using sound as a medium to be like, let somebody be in a space. Let's create space through audio. And I appreciate that he's doing that, and he was doing it a long time ago, and a lot of people have done it before him. I love that he's like subverting how we expect something should be. And I guess there's part of me that does this thing with him where like, I think I told you recently, like I hadn't listened to Letting Off the Happiness until literally like 4 months ago. Ever. Never heard it. And I think I kind of like to save little pieces of his stuff so that I have it at times when I
do that
need
with Paul
something.
McCartney. I've purposefully not listened to the Paul McCartney album Ram, because I'm like, I need to like have some stuff that I haven't heard later on in my life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I heard the song Jet for the first time, like, in Love. That's where I heard it.
Oh, in the song, in the show Love.
In the show Love. I had never heard the song Jet, and that song is like maybe one of my favorite songs is like of all time. I love that fucking song now. Like,
well,
just
just to circle back to what you're saying. First of all, I'll be the first subscriber to your podcast. Second of all,
let's do it together.
Well, second of all, you should listen to my podcast because I think you'll like.
Well, which
it.
one is it?
The ones that aren't Bright Eyes.
You're describing what he's doing.
Okay.
Like,
I'll send you some links.
Okay.
But also, this is very funny. I screen capped this on my notes. This is a 3-star Amazon review of Lifted, and it says, so the title is, some of the songs are pretty good. The problem is that the end of ... Oh, sorry, that's also the first line of the review.
some of the songs are pretty good. The problem is the end of each song is followed by 2 minutes of silence or static or other weird noises.
Yeah.
End of review.
Yeah. Excellent.
June 11th, 2015.
Well, I also think it's like we started talking about how space is used within this album in the last episode.
Yes.
We talked at length about that because it's hard to do.
Yes.
Create a space within sound.
Yeah,
And
I
that's
think
kind of like a thing that we have been talking about for like a while. I feel like that's kind of like a topic that we go back to.
And it's funny because that was we talked about. So we talked about the first couple tracks on the album last time, and we talked about the way that it almost feels like a room where you're just like walking through this giant house or venue, and you walk backstage and he's singing a song, and then you walk out onto the stage and there's this big orchestral thing happening, and it feels very spatial. I think that's mostly true of the first half of the album. Mm-hmm. Like, so the story of the second half of this album is that it's just so starting from Nothing Gets Crossed Out.
Yeah.
Wall to wall, just bangers.
Do you want to hold the album in your hands? I brought the album.
Sure.
Because, okay, so what I think is, do you know what I mean when I say that sometimes it seems like there are movies that teach you how to watch them?
Yes.
Like movies that have a different style.
Yes.
Memento, I guess, is the best first example of it. But there are lots of movies that have different styles, and they teach you how to watch them. And so you don't even know it when you're seeing it the first time, but the beginning is easy and the second half is hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that's true about Lifted. I think that Lifted is teaching you how to listen to it, and the second half of Lifted is like, now that you know what's going on, here's a song like Waste of Paint.
Yeah.
Where a whole song or a whole album's worth of ideas are burned out in one verse. And then here's 7 more fucking verses.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, now that you are ready to listen to Bright Eyes, we're going to slam on the gas. And that's what a lot of these songs sound like to me, the second half.
I mean, I think that, so I was thinking about that in another way when I was up here, because I think what it does, it almost... So, like, I do this thing where I sometimes check out of it, and I feel like as I've gotten older, there are pieces that I've, like, chosen to connect with or hear, and I feel like he almost risks, and I think this did happen for me, where he lost me, and I chose not to be the sort of, like, educated listener that I think he was trying to do, and I ended up... like, I get lost in it, but the pieces that come through, I hold on to, and then as I get older, other ones kind of make themselves apparent, and it's a really different, I'm sure, I don't know that was his intent, but I feel like it's a way as a listener that I've kind of come to listen to his music.
Yeah, that's true for me too.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's true just of Lifted, because Lifted is so long. Mm-hmm. It's 73 minutes long. That's a long time to listen to something.
Yeah.
I've been listening to this album while driving to work and stuff, and obviously other things happen, traffic and whatever, but there are times when you're not listening to it. And you're like, oh, I gotta start the song over again. I wasn't following what was happening.
Yeah.
And it's hard to, like, have sustained attention for 73 minutes, especially when there's so much to notice. But it's true, because then you notice pieces of it, and then later on, there'll be a part of the song that'll suddenly mean so much to you or hit you so hard that you never really heard or noticed before.
Yeah.
I thought, in my re-listening to this album this week, I thought that, and I think maybe we can launch into talking about tracks at times.
Sure, yeah, we can do that.
I think a good place to start is the first track, Nothing Gets Crossed Out. In it, there's an instrumental part that happens that I feel like I never truly appreciated until now, where it's that little guitar part that's going ding 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 ding
Yeah.
ding 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 ding. Like, it's just like a really beautiful guitar driven. It doesn't necessarily sound guitar driven. It sounds like very orchestral and everything. But like, it's got that great little riff that comes through it, and like those little, that's what I was thinking of when you said like little sound pieces, like that he's like kind of like working on as like its own thing. That's what I think of in that song. Nothing Gets Crossed Out is a fucking awesome song.
Yeah.
There's about 5 guitar tracks going at certain times in this song. And as someone who does nothing but like layer guitars over each other, I was like, this is unconsciously where I learned to do it.
Yeah, yeah, me too.
Especially like, so in the second verse, so when the try to take some comfort in written words, Tim, I heard your album and
It's better than good. Yep.
That with that verse is, first of all, it's my favorite part of the song. And second of all, there's like 6 guitar parts going at that time, at that point. And they're all there. There's other stuff happening too, but it's mostly just these layers of guitars over each other. And I kind of kept forgetting that song gets big. Like when it gets the
I don't want to lay here no more.
Yeah, I forget that part happens.
No more. I don't wanna lay here no more.
I don't wanna.
Yeah, that's the best part in the song.
But I forget it's there because when I think about it, I'm like, oh, this is a nice little Conor Oberst and Maria Taylor duet.
Yeah, they sound great together too.
In my head, Conor Oberst and Maria Taylor singing together is like, that's like what angels sound like. You know?
Yeah.
It's funny because have you ever done the exercise of like build your ideal band?
Sure.
I've always thought about that, and I remember when Christy and I, we have this book of writing prompts that we wrote back and forth to each other, and that was one of the questions that I had in there. And the answer that I had was that I wanted Tim Kasher and Annie Clark as the singers of a band, because I love Annie Clark's voice for its evenness, and I love Tim Kasher for like how dynamic he is. Like they're like Happy Hollow, that Cursive album.
Yeah.
There are songs in that album where he goes from a scream to a whisper to singing so fast back and forth, and it's like no other motherfucker can do this like Tim Kasher. But that's still not my it's not the voice of my internal monologue. The voice of my internal monologue is Conor Oberst and Maria Taylor singing together. But there are actually so few songs where they do. It's like this, Amy in the White Coat, a couple others. But it's so weird that in my head, it's like Conor Oberst and Maria Taylor sing together all the time. But there's only a few songs, and this is one of them.
I want Tim Kasher and Annie Clark to be together in everything. I want to watch a porno with Tim Kasher and Annie Clark. I want books written by them. Yeah. I want them to host my news.
That would be the funniest news broadcast.
That'd be great. All of that is. I want that to be everything. I want them to run my government.
Yeah, Annie Clark would, if on the Annie Clark and Tim Kasher news show, Annie Clark would be like sitting bolt upright and kind of like very robotically saying the news, and then cut to Tim Kasher and he'd be like slumped over.
Yeah, he's drunk. He's drunk.
Yeah.
He's
and
drunk.
He'd be like doing like a David Cross news routine from the early 2000s. He'd have like a newspaper in his hand, and he'd be like, "You see this fucking shit?"
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That would be a great show.
Tim Kasher on Instagram is a really good time.
Tim Kasher on Twitter was great when he was on Twitter.
Start following Tim Kasher and start watching his stories because they are funny.
So I did write on my notes for this song. I wrote that the sister albums of this album are The Ugly Organ and More Adventurous.
Okay, I'll take you one further, and I will say that Make War is the sister song to With Arms Outstretched.
Sure, that's Execution of All Things. But yes.
Okay, well, whatever. But I mean, spade's a spade, right?
Well, so like we were saying, there was we quoted a thing from Jonathan Franzen earlier about Lifted being an album about belief without religion, basically. Mm-hmm. And like the absence of God from More Adventurous is like running along the same thematic path that parts of this album are. Although it's maybe a little more upbeat than...
I think you're going too deep.
Yeah, maybe.
Turn around!
This is the part of the
You're
podcast...
going too deep!
Yeah, this is the part of the podcast where we play Down in a Rabbit Hole, that Digital Ash song, because we're going too far.
I don't know, because I've thought about the spirituality in it, and I thought about... Do you know, like, the imagery that I have from a balance beam, so maybe I'm getting a little...
No, we're gonna talk about it.
Let's go for it. We can talk about it.
So, like, the imagery there feels so strong to me, and I wonder, I guess before I share what I see, I'm curious to know, because I've never asked anyone, like, what do you see in the sort of, like, early, very beginning part of what he's...
It's so weird because I can so visually picture the story of the beginning of From a Balance Beam. It's so weird. I can see it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always been like the same street in my imagination.
Yes, me too.
Yeah. But as far as like what the song is about, I have an idea about what some of the lyrics are about, but I feel like the overall picture, I don't know. I know I compare different songs to the Joanna Newsom song Sawdust and Diamonds all the time, but
So
or
there are all
every
these.
song to any Joanna Newsom.
I think about Joanna Newsom a lot,
time.
but Joanna Newsom is like people go nuts about Joanna Newsom, and they like delve into the history and the references of what these songs are about, and like everyone's like, all the Joanna Newsom scholars are like, yeah, nobody has any fucking idea what Sawdust and Diamonds about. It's just crazy nonsense lyrics.
that's
kind
kind of like what.
It feels so deep that you're like, it's something, and I can feel it without saying what it is. And that's a little bit what I feel.
That's how I feel about From a Balanced Beam, like, perfectly.
Yeah.
That's exactly how I feel about it.
But, okay, I had, like a genuine emotional reaction thinking about just the part. I felt like a girl from a balanced beam, a gymnasium of eyes were holding on to me.
Yeah.
And I thought about the idea of this album being an album about belief without religion. And I thought, what is it belief in? And I thought, like, that's what it is. It's belief in community, like a room full of people hoping that this girl on the balance beam won't fall, but almost more importantly, she does fall. Like, everyone in the community, everyone together, we're all hoping towards something that we're gonna fail at. But it's about the belief and about the hope, even though you're going to fail. And there's a line in the Farewell Transmission in that song. He says, the real truth about it is nobody gets it right. The real truth about it is we're all supposed to try. And it's like, we're not going to get it right. We're not going to succeed. We're going to lose. But we have to try anyway. And that's like what that part of the song is about to me. And I was like thinking about it in the car, and I was like getting emotional just thinking about that line.
Definitely.
And you were like, this is about Infinity War, like. We're talking Infinity War, right?
Yeah. This is Doctor Strange's experience in Infinity War.
Yeah, we're talking Infinity War, right?
And then after that, all I could think of was I was like, in a motherfucking review of There's No Beginning to This Story, Pitchfork said that song was dull.
Yeah.
I was like, those motherfuckers.
Well, and
from a balance beam?
How could you?
From a balance beam is amazing.
I think that I also
I
think that there's an important aspect of from a balance beam that I think is like all Conor Oberst, like the real great stuff of Conor Oberst. From a balance beam is on that list.
Yeah.
And even if you're going to get into this podcast and you're going to become a fan of Bright Eyes through hearing us jabber on about it for hours and hours. Okay, so like, even if you're not going to be a lover of Lifted as an album, you're going to hear From a Balance Beam and be like, there's some fucking real shit going on here. You know what I mean? Like,
it's every trick in the whole album in one song.
Yeah, it is. Well,
Ooh. I talked about that opening verse for a while. What do you think about it?
Well, I just have like a very strong imagery in my head. It's like I'm in this place. Like I see, I don't know, it's weird because the point of view, I'm like low and there's grass. And actually the part about the angel statue when her arm's broken off.
Yeah.
And it's being like held on by some sort of clear wire or thread or something. I don't know, like that feels, I don't know, I just feel something really deep when I think about that. And then it's followed, I think, by the girl on the balance beam.
Yeah, so it's like the first verse and the chorus of the song.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like that part of the song is the biggest punch, basically. There's more to the song and it goes on, but it's like the opening verse and that chorus are like crazy.
Yeah. It feels surreal, though. Like, the imagery is so strong, and it's never changed. Like, I don't know how I clung to it so early on from listening to it, but then it's... And I think this is, like, the bigger comment for what he and Bright Eyes have been for me is this, like, North Star of, like, something that I return to. And there's, like, some way that it was happening at a formative time, being so young at that time, where it's, like, I feel like... It's so silly to say, but it's like I feel so lucky to have this like guiding light.
Yeah.
Because it's something that I can always return to, and no matter what state I'm in, there is always something that it's like a security blanket or something. It's more than that, but I feel like it grows as I've grown, and then it's like...
I think we both feel that way pretty strongly especially about Conor Oberst's music. I think that you know, when you hear the album, whatever it is, you know, when you hear the album at that time in your life, and you can just always place it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I think that continues on through your life, but I think that we both feel that way, especially about Conor Oberst. Like,
I do feel I feel a weird kind of gratitude about Lifted.
Yeah.
Like, that I found it, and that it was there, and that it existed. Like, it's so corny to be like, if I met Conor Oberst, I'd be like, thank you for, like, aligning my life,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
But I don't, like, I don't know a way to say that in a way that doesn't sound dramatic. I would want him to know that
Yeah.
in, like, a simple way and a not embarrassing way, but it would be really hard to say. I would go out of my way at this point to not talk to Conor Oberst because I'm so scared of it.
yeah, I mean, what truly could you say?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's the whole bit of like, how could you possibly explain to someone what they mean to you especially when they've been so like it's such a long relationship
Right.
that I've had.
I could have talked to
with
him when I was 17.
Yeah, and I
Too
would
late now.
and it would have meant the same.
Yeah. It's,
You know,
yeah.
like,
But
it would
it's
have meant the
been
same.
too long now. It's been building up for too long in me, you know, that I couldn't
So
talk to
I
him.
was listening to when John Mayer shows up on Harmontown.
I was just listening to that episode.
First of all, have you listened to the full interview?
No, but I really
It's-
thought John Mayer had some very interesting things to say.
John Mayer's the man.
Yeah.
So, first of all, I've been a long time supporter of John Mayer. People don't understand John Mayer.
I don't.
I fucking do.
I don't totally get his music, but his perspective on being an artist is, like, I was listening to it at work, and I was like, I gotta stop, and I gotta come back to this later when I can dedicate more attention to it, because he's saying some great shit.
When I brought up in a conversation with you, when his manager says to him, when he's talking about like bad record sales in one of his things, like, and he's like, you know, I'm doing what I want to do, but people aren't buying it, kind of thing. And one of his managers says to him, like, yeah, but imagine how awful it would be to be so successful but know you aren't talented. And like for whatever reason, like that conversation when he's telling the story, like listening to that interview, I was like, oh, like that is like a trick for it to me, where like, even though I am not very successful at the craft that I want to be, like I like at least can stand by my art and like know that like I'm happy with what I'm doing, you know?
Well, the other thing that I think is kind of terrifying to me is, like, I went to Graceland when I was with my dad and we were filming that project, and there's something, like, so overwhelmingly devastating about being at Graceland, where you're, like, seeing this person who's, like, the king and became something so important for so many people, and you kind of realize that, like, all of those people were such a big part of his demise. And you feel like them knowing that it's such a double-edged sword, and I really wrestle with the idea of, like, once you become aware of your significance or role in other people's lives and fame, and then you have to answer to, like, record sales and things like that, it's like, how does that not just ultimately do you in some way?
Yeah.
Like, are we just killing him? I mean,
Well, yeah,
no.
but I mean, you could
Like,
probably hide behind that for any artist that.
Oh, I would agree with that,
we
definitely.
corrupted, you know.
I mean,
yeah.
I would totally agree with that, and I think, like, that's why I love Neil Young so much, because I feel like he just kind of is like, fuck it, I'll do what I want, and
Yeah.
and I like that. I think it's, like, he's staying true to kind of what you're saying of, like, doing something that, like, yeah, the record sales are bad, but he's, like, being true to what he wants to do.
I also like that Neil Young is, like, obsessed with, like, streaming quality and, like, trying to fix music streaming so that it's, like, high, it's, like, for stereo
Yeah,
files.
that's
I love
crazy.
it's such a funny old man preoccupation. I love it. I'm like, I love it because it's like it's a high-tech old man preoccupation, but you're like, Neil Young's just, like, sitting in front of a computer, like, he's trying to, like, write the algorithm from Silicon Valley. You know, he's like, I'm gonna crack this middle out compression.
Yeah. He has his own audio player for those of you who don't know.
I didn't know
Oh yeah,
that.
the Pano player.
Yes, he has his own player.
It looks like an iPod designed by Neil Young.
Yeah, it does. It's big and orange. It's like a big school bus.
So So we got to circle back because we haven't talked
Yo.
about. We skipped over 2 songs.
We skipped
So,
over Make War
Make
and Waste
War.
of Pain. Yeah.
Now, here's a weird. You know how I've always said I have a photographic memory for Rolling Stone magazine from 2002 to 2007. I read Rolling Stone probably earlier, like 98 to 2007. I have over the years I've lapsed in my subscription, but I still get Rolling Stone.
Fuck Rolling Stone.
They just switched to a monthly, larger format magazine, and I like weirdly felt like it affected me in a way. I was like, this is weird. Rolling Stone is changing formats.
I actually think I didn't hear that. That's pretty smart, though.
Yeah, I mean,
At least if you're going to try and keep the print.
Yeah, a bi-weekly print publication is insane.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, Rolling Stone referred to Make War, this was back in 2003, 2004, as Conor Oberst's greatest song, which I thought was an interesting declaration. Because if you read reviews of Lifted from when it came out, they phrase it as like a country rock detour.
Yeah, okay. That's what I was going to say. You hit a lot of the country, Connor, on this. And this is kind of where it first starts happening.
Friend of the show, Tim.
Yep.
You know Tim? I talked to him during office hours for
Yep.
the podcast. He called in, and he said that he thought that parts of Lifted were about Conor Oberst testing the waters to go full country. And that's just a reading of it that had never occurred to me before. I don't think it's wrong.
No.
But I was like, oh yeah, I'd never really thought of it that way.
Well, and I mean, like, and he certainly has, like, you know, if I were to look at, like, what's the country album? Casadega?
I'm Wide Awake.
I would say I'm wide awake.
I'm Wide Awake is
Outer
like
South?
a classically... See, that's what I was going to say, is that
Really?
this kind of developed into, instead of country, it kind of went the other way, which is like this Western rock shit.
Sure.
Which I am a huge Mystic Valley Band fan, like, as far as, like, in my iterations of Conor Oberst, I think Mystic Valley Band might be my favorite right now. So, like, hearing Make War, I really love Make War because it's that thing. It's where he's first really getting that Midwestern kind of country sound out.
I do like
I think
any
he just
song
went
where
a
someone
different
goes
way than
like,
expected.
I like when someone yells like, come on, help me out, boys. And then like some guitars come in.
My favorite part in that whole thing is he goes, ooh, I like that, in the middle of it. And that's the best part.
Yeah. I just love the one thing I like about the song is that it's just fun. Like
Yeah,
it's just a fun.
it is it's a great
fun
kick-ass
like
song.
breakup song
Yeah.
basically. And I just like a lot of the lyrics and everything are really playful. Like my favorite line in this song is when he says like, I'm not gonna bless you with such compliments, some degrading psalm of praise. I love that
Yeah.
line. That's like my favorite line. And it's just fun. It's like fun wordplay, and it's, I don't know. This is definitely a song that you can imagine. I think the Rolling Stone, when they called it his greatest song, it was in the context of a live review. And I think you could imagine this would be a song where you'd have a lot of fun on stage.
Who's singing backup vocal on this song? Who's that guy that's singing the back?
Could
Is
it
it
be,
Andy
could it
Andy
be Nick
Lamaster?
Freitas?
No,
It's
too early.
All right, so maybe it's Andy Lamaster then.
I was wondering if it was Andy Lamaster because I think it kind of sounds like him.
Yeah.
But I always think of whenever he goes, so long ago, and then he goes, so long ago.
Yeah.
I always think of that part because it makes me think of like is it Raspberry Beret or Little Red Corvette? In Little Red Corvette, there's a guy singing backup vocals for Prince, and he has like a few lines like that. And I always like whenever I hear that song, I'm like, imagine being that fucking guy and being like, yeah, you heard the new Prince single yet? And like he's got like some good backup vocals, and it's like. That's a classic Prince song. I just think it'd be a really nice thing for a musician to be able to point to and be like, that's me singing backup for Prince, you know? Like, I feel like
Doing anything for Prince would be amazing.
Well, yeah.
But also, like, to be the people in all those stories that Prince, like, just dismissed as not being good enough, like, how would you ever recover?
Yeah.
I love the story about, so Prince would get mad at sound technicians who messed with the mix while they were playing on stage. They said, like, if you turned up one guitar a little bit while they were playing, Prince could hear it and he'd get mad at you.
Yeah.
And there was a sound mixer guy that everyone thought looked like Darius Rucker, and Prince called him Hootie. And while they were like they were rehearsing, and apparently Hootie made some change, and Prince said into the microphone, "Hootie, don't do that." And then they kept playing, and then he did it again, and Prince said to the microphone, "Hootie, you're fired."
Yeah.
There's also a great story about Prince like epically burning Matt Damon.
Yes.
Because Matt Damon tried to make small talk with him at a party, and he said, "Do you live in Minnesota? I heard you live in Minnesota." And Prince said to him, "I live inside my own heart, Matt Damon." First of all, it'll be so great to be able to diss Matt Damon to his face and say Matt Damon as his name, like say his full name.
Yeah.
Like that's incorrect, Matt Damon.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
Prince ahead
Yeah.
of his time.
I know.
The greatest of all time.
He was. I saw a girl's Twitter profile. I was clicking randomly on it, and it said, silently, continuously mourning the death of Prince. And I was like, yeah, me too, man. Everybody is. Like,
I think that, so I did one of the episodes of the podcast, we talked to Monty Bohannon, we were talking about David Bowie, and we were talking about the show Song Exploder, and so many musicians talk about David Bowie's death profoundly affecting them, and like everyone is still getting over it. I think David Bowie affected a lot of like weird musicians, but Prince affected every human being on Earth.
yeah.
I think Donald Trump got elected because Prince died.
Mm-hmm.
The world was just not ready to go on without Prince, so we're like, let's fuck everything up then. Screw it.
What do you feel like? You feel like we've touched everything upon Make War?
Wait, is this the song? I love at the end when everyone is people are singing.
Yes.
Wait, is
Yes.
this the song where he goes, "That was really great" at the end, or is that no? That's Laura Laurent. Never mind.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, but it's another like. I guess I want to know how Conor Oberst recorded these group vocals
Yeah, me too.
because Laura Laurent is harder to understand.
Okay, but I love this one. I like this one a little more than the La La's in Laura Laurent. I really like this one. The end being the end. And claim all that has spoiled in your heart. When they go into the instrumental, not instrumental, a cappella one at the end. That's fucking perfect. That's the shit that I love so much. Like I stole this harder than anything else in my musical performances. Of the things that I've stolen from Conor Oberst, this is like, I started doing this right away. As soon as I heard this, I was like, this is my thing now. Like, that's a great tag on to any like real country song.
Yeah. All right, well, let's talk about "Waste of Paint."
Oh, so good.
That was one that Christy says that's like her favorite song from this album, and we were talking. I do associate it with like the early days of us dating, and it just, but it's the kind of song that I didn't know was possible before. Like, I know it's very, like, there's a lot of Bob Dylan songs that are a lot like Waste of Paint in structure and everything, but this was like the first one I ever heard that was like this. Like, very simple chord pattern. It's way more about the stories and the mood than it is about the musicianship. It's all like, it's all recorded like in one take.
Yeah.
And you get through this whole first verse about his friend who's an artist who doesn't think anything of himself, and you're like, that's a lot, but then you like immediately are like, so this is a woman that I know, like her husband cheated on her and all that stuff, and you're like, that was also a lot of emotion. And then another thing happens, and another thing's happened, and then he's going down to a church and listening to people singing, and he tries to sing with them, but he can't reach their voices, and so he just walks away, and you're like, that's another, like, how kids say big mood. That's like it's like a meme. No. So like an internet meme is like you take a picture of a trash can that's spilled onto the street, and cars are running over the trash, and you take a picture of that and you say big mood. Like, this is what I feel. Like, oh wow, this really captures my feelings. That's what
there was a part in this whole thing where I thought you were describing how memes worked to us. I thought you were like, okay, so memes are like somebody takes a picture of this thing.
Yeah, and then they put the caption on it, and then other people do a different version of the caption. And then eventually it becomes like a meta meme.
So give me another example of this type of meme.
Okay, let's see. Another thing that would be like big mood. Like maybe like a picture of Rihanna floating in a pool on like a floaty diamond ring, drinking champagne,
so
and
it could be a good
giving
thing
the
or a
finger
bad
to
thing?
an old man. Yeah, it's like big mood. Like, it's just like, wow, a lot to parse there. A lot of emotion in that image. So I just feel like the way you could react to every single verse of Waste of Pain is just be like, big mood.
Big mood. Okay. I think I got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So not make war, Waste of Pain. My favorite part is the stuff about his brother getting pulled over in the road.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Because I think I really like as what was, now it seems kind of simple of this thought.
Yeah.
In like my mind. But when I heard it when I was 12, I was like, whoa, people say this type of stuff in a song? The whole bit about like, no, I can't just let you go, even though your father's name is known.
Yeah.
Your decisions now are yours alone. I was like, coming from a town where everybody knew my dad and everything like that, I was like, this verse was written for me.
Yeah. I like the little like Irish lilt in his voice when he's like, this cop pulled him over the side of the road.
Yeah. He does have a very. That's one thing with this song too, is that this song is very, for like all the emo stuff that follows Conor Oberst for whatever reason in his early career. We've talked before about how like people kind of called him emo.
Yeah,
He's like
they
he's
do.
fucking not emo.
And like whiny is always the.
So yeah, and it's
Everybody
like that's
calls it,
not
like,
the
whiny
case.
emo music, and you're
But-
like, what?
But this song, when you hear this, you're like, okay, I might get that.
Well, so I
I
saw
might get when people compare him to that, even though they're wrong.
Well, so it seemed self-aware in the sense that he was calling himself and his brother and like the family, like that privilege out, right? Like awareness of it, and then that's so like when people say that. I just was referencing that line to someone who's like, oh, he just sounds so privileged when I hear it. And I'm like, well, yeah, I think he acknowledges that he's coming from a place of privilege and like cited that line from it. But I think I did want to take a moment to say that, and I don't mean this I mean this in the most warm way because I don't mean the words that follow it, but like, when he's like, we've been this couple and I love their love and like, and I always think of you and Christy. Like, I always think of you guys because I don't know, he's like, I love their love and like the way that, and I don't mean it in an insulting way because there's like stuff after where he's like, they got it gets kind of dark where he's like envious and but I don't mean those parts of it, but I think there is something where it's like you meet certain people that are connected and it really, I don't know, I've always thought of you guys.
Huh, cool. Well, I don't think his message after that is negative. I think what he's saying is like, even this, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. He's like, I see this love and I love it and I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And yet, even though I have this higher level thinking, I can't help but fall into the trap of being envious and resentful that I don't have it and everything. And so it's about like, I hate the patterns that my brain I'm falling into.
Well, I think that's like been a big part throughout all of everything Bright Eyes. Just like his philosophy and the way that he has this sort of, however he's coming to understand himself through his music, I feel really connected to. I feel like there are things, it's just this like outsider-y kind of like getting ruminative, being someone who like picks things apart a little bit more and then feeling like that somehow puts you on the outside, and it can be seen as negative by a lot of people, but it's like the way you are, and it can be really, for me at least, that's what I connect with a lot in it.
If somebody tried to pull the all I hear is like privilege kind of conversation with me, I would be like, go fuck yourself. I'd get up from the table and fucking leave.
That's like the number one thing people say to me when they're like, I don't like Bright Eyes, he sounds like a whiny, privileged person.
I would question who you surround yourself with.
Well, it's hard not to. That has definitely been a thing where I'm like, really? I don't know if I can look at you the same way.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really hard.
I guess I can see. The problem is that I have so much context for Bright Eyes.
Yeah.
That I have to extend to other people the benefit of the you haven't been listening to Bright Eyes for 15 years kind of thing. And there are probably other artists, I can't think of any per se, there are probably other artists that I knee-jerk dismiss in a similar way. Or at least that I used to.
I knee-jerk dismiss most things that I don't.
I think over the years
I
I've
agree.
learned not to necessarily dismiss anything. I mean, At this point, as a 31-year-old dad, there are certain things that are just like deal breakers for me.
Like
If it's not a Marvel movie and it's over 2 hours long, I'm not gonna watch it. I have an extremely low violence threshold now. I can't see violence happen ever with anything. Rick and Morty's a little too violent for me.
Yeah, but Rick and Morty is that episode, the one that you just watched.
Yeah, the Avengers one.
Yeah, the whatever that is.
That
was troubling
it's
too.
Very violent, and Pickle Rick is very violent too. And it was just
Pickle Rick is troubling to watch because he kills all those rats like really horribly.
It's very violent, and I just think, well, I love this show and I love the writing, but when it's getting violent, I'm kind of not watching. And the other day I had this thought that I was like, you know, it'd be a great website, a website where you go, all right, does a baby get hurt in this movie? Yes or no? No other spoilers. Or is a baby in peril?
No,
ever?
it's got to be is an animal.
That already exists
It
because
does?
people are sociopaths and they care about animals more than humans. But if there was a website that was like, does a baby get hurt or is a baby in peril? Yes or no? I would use that website because like I already know from osmosis, like the Darren Aronofsky movie Mother. I could never see the movie Mother because I already know roughly the idea that bad things happen to a baby in that movie, so I'm never gonna be able to see it.
What about like Game of Thrones?
I will never be able to go back and watch those episodes of Game of Thrones ever again.
I'm fine with, I'll watch Game of Thrones until it's over, but I will not be rewatching Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones mostly provides me with stress and anger. So why would I go back and put myself through that again? I have a weird, feeling in my bones that, I might be put on this earth to assassinate those two dudes that make that show. I might be. It might be my mission in life to kill those motherfuckers. When I see them on TV, I'm like, "Fuck you guys! I hate you! I hate you so much." Something about them really, to my core. It's like I'm put here for a reason.
A weird realization I had recently was that I have no investment in what happens in
I
Game of Thrones.
I don't care.
And I was like, weird, because 3 years ago I would have really cared.
Well, people always scoff at me because I say that Stranger Things is my favorite TV show over Game of Thrones all the time. And it's like, you don't like watching Stranger Things more than you like watching
I don't
Game
like
of Thrones?
Stranger Things.
What? Why?
It's so overrated.
I haven't seen it, but
It's
Frasier is my favorite show, and I like Frasier better than I like Game of Thrones.
Wait, so is the violence thing that's new with being a dad?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
So it's not just a time factor.
I mean,
like getting
it might be
older.
that too.
Yeah.
Because over time, I watched a lot of really violent movies when I was 17, 18 years old.
Uh-huh.
And I have a very distinct memory of being 26, 27 and seeing Zombieland and being like, no, too much.
Huh.
And it's been kind of been on a downward slope ever since.
That's really interesting because I have a friend who we were watching The Thing, and he was terrified, and it gets kind of creepy, weird at times.
Yeah.
But he is a kid, and I never thought about because we used to watch stuff before. I never really put it together.
Changes you.
Well, to bring it back,
You want everyone to be happy now in every movie you watch.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I'm not there yet, but
Yeah.
But the other part that I love about Wasted Paint is the cherries. The slot when it's sorry,
Oh yeah, sorry, just one cherry.
Yeah, I love that.
Get
I love
lucky.
that. I love that.
That's a really great Conor Outburst vocal thing that he
Yes.
does right there.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
One of my
He
favorites.
brays like a goat.
Yeah. Play it again. Get lucky. Yeah. I like the goat thing. That's a good example of what it's like.
That is funny. I'm glad you said that because now I'm gonna play a clip of that part of the song 10 times.
It's so good.
Play again.
Play again!
Well, my parents used to make fun of me because when I got into Bright Eyes, I was wanting to share this music because I felt very important, and I put it on, and my parents just burst out laughing, and they were like, "He sounds like Elmer Fudd. I can't listen to this."
That's funny.
And they just kind of I was like, but at one point I was like, well, you guys love Emmylou Harris. She's in this, and they were like, yep, don't care, horrible. So
See, I remember playing "I'm Wide Awake, It's Morning" for my mom and Bill, and them being like, "Oh yeah, this is really good."
Yeah.
And I was like, see, this is where the rubber meets the road for Conor Oberst, because I think we had played them other stuff before, and they were kind of like interesting, you know, but they weren't like in it. But then they heard like Landlocked Blues, and they were like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Well, I went
Now
to
we're Conor Oberst fans.
the music hall. When I first came up here, I went to a show alone. I came up here for college, and he was playing... I don't know why he was playing I'm Wide Awake This Morning, because it was 2007.
Yeah, we actually have
Were
played...
you guys at that show?
No, actually, he
At
might
the
have
music
been.
hall.
No, I wasn't at that. No, I
Oh,
didn't see that.
I went alone, and I was like, I don't care, I'm
Who
going.
opened with him?
Oh, I don't remember.
It wasn't Feist.
Ooh,
No,
I don't
that
think
was
so.
like 2005. But he he was still playing those. He still plays on Wide Awake This Morning songs. So that's Wide Awake This Morning was 2005.
Well,
I feel like
but
that
I
was
think
the
that
main
no.
album.
I was gonna say I think that he toured on it for like a long time.
He did.
Yeah,
he
he
was
did.
touring
Because he
on it.
also was doing it like before it.
He toured once on I'm Wide Awake, then again on Digital Ash, then again on I'm Wide Awake.
Okay, that's what it was.
Well, I was gonna say the demographic at that show was like very parenty. Like it.
That's a
was
Portsmouth
very-
thing, partly.
Okay.
Yeah, we saw Dirty Projectors with like grandparents.
Oh man, that show was awesome.
Yeah. New Dirty Projectors. Speaking of, we didn't do Your Release Radar. A new Dirty Projectors album comes out this week.
What?
Yeah,
Oh my god.
it's called Lamplit Prose.
I am going to beat it to that album. I am all about that guy right now.
Okay, well, let's talk about. Okay, first of all, Laura Laurent.
Uh-huh.
I have always pronounced it that way, like lament.
Yeah.
But it could be Laura Laurent.
That's kind of how yeah.
Like, I never really wondered, I never thought about it. Or also, because technically if that's like a French name, it could be Laura Laurent.
Yeah.
I've never-
names are funny.
I've never heard him say, I've never heard him pronounce that part.
Yeah, no, I haven't
It's
either.
just like, so I love Songs Ohia, Magnolia Electric Co. And I always called him Jason Molina. And I just looked up a video and he says his name is Jason Molina. And I was like, why did I ever think it wasn't pronounced Molina? It's spelled just like Alfred Molina. Why would I assume it was Jason Molina? I just did. I don't know. I just thought that's how it was pronounced. And you don't think about that stuff until you either hear it pronounced differently or someone else says,
or
someone
they
else says,
laugh at you.
someone
because
else
of you
says,
saying it wrong.
Yeah.
or you meet someone who's like, I really love that band Relo Kile.
Yeah. I actually had that, funny enough, I had that happen to me like last week.
I had it happen to me. Too
I had
last
a
week.
guy, I was playing Rilo Kiley in the kitchen, and a guy that works out front was like, is this, and then he said their name really weird.
Huh.
I don't
Well,
know which way he said it. But
It's the funny thing is like, that's fine because like all that means is they've read it and they haven't heard it said out loud.
Yeah.
So it's like cool. That means you read things.
Well, I mean, yeah. I like the idea that, not knowing something and being okay with the fact that you don't know something. Like when we kept going back on, in the Arcade Fire podcast, we kept going back on the pronunciation of, Eurydice. It was that we didn't really know how Eurydice was said.
Right. I always thought it was Eurydice, but
Yes.
then it turns out it is Eurydice.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's odd.
And when we had that episode, we were like, okay, so let's just put it out in the air that it's okay to pronounce it anyway. Like let's just like say it however we feel like we want to say it. Like,
I just came across that post. When I posted that episode of the podcast on Tumblr, I put a picture of Orpheus's severed head, and I said, today we're talking about Arcade Fire's fuck punk opus Reflector, and I was like, anyway, here's a picture of Orpheus's severed head shortly after he was fucked to death. That's the funniest legend in the world, that Orpheus got fucked to death. He got fucked until his head came off.
yeah.
Anyway. So, Laura Laurent.
Yeah.
This is a great song.
Yeah, it's all right.
How do I feel?
Yeah, I
Really?
feel, yeah.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
a big fan of this song.
I think this song's a little boring.
I agree.
I feel like it is boring, but it's very stately.
Hey,
I'm sorry, it's not boring. It's stately, but also it'll always hold a special place in my heart because, as I said, at the first time I ever saw Conor Oberst, it was
Hey.
at the Somerville Theater,
yeah,
and he, with M. Ward and Jim James before they were Monsters of Folk.
we're gonna see M. Ward on Sunday, by
Yeah.
the way.
I saw him. I was really underwhelmed.
Yeah, that's kind of how I expect it to be. But,
Well,
it's
the
free.
first time I saw M
Oh,
Word,
that's cool.
He's in Prescott Park this week.
the first time I saw M Word, I'd never seen him before.
And he fucking killed.
And he like shredded an acoustic guitar.
We thought that this guitar was going to explode into flames in
Yes.
his hands.
It was amazing. So, but anyway, during that concert, Connor Oberst was singing Laura Laurent. He walked out into the audience. He was, at that point, very drunk because it was that era of Connor Oberst's live performance. And he walked out into the aisle, and he laid down on the ground next to us and laid there
Yeah.
singing the song.
He did.
And it was probably just the length of the microphone cord. That was as far as he could get. But I felt chosen by Connor Oberst that he laid down next to us. And so that's part of the reason that song will always hold a special place in my heart, because it was that moment. The same show that we talked about before, where that guy stood up and yelled,
Yeah.
"I'm standing up" during the big picture. But
Also, I'm not going to go into details, but Connor Oberst also made a very grotesque joke about having sex with Mother Mary in that concert, and then everyone was like, "Oh, that was a weird joke." Again, he was very drunk.
that was the one where we stood out back and tried to talk to him, I think. Wasn't it? Or was that in Concord?
Yeah.
We stood out
was
back,
we tried to get it.
and
yeah.
Mike Mogus was out there talking to people. And Connor Oberst very quickly went by to
Yeah.
the tour bus. And we were like, okay, fine.
Well, I think we had also tried to catch him before the show too. I think.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I remember us being like, "Oh, that's where they're gonna load in," kind of thing.
Yeah, we were scoping it out.
I also remember being, again, I was very young. I remember being so pissed that Christy's brother Matt got the aisle seat of that.
Oh, yeah?
I remember being like, I should have sat in the fucking aisle. I could
'cause
have
you
grabbed Connor Oberst, grabbed him by his penis.
Well, it's probably good
Steal his carbon.
It's probably good that you didn't. But, yeah. I was like going down, because I wanted to know what songs from Lifted have I seen performed live. So I was on Setlist FM looking at the concerts that I've been to for Connor
Oh
Oberst.
my god, you are a nerd.
Yes, it's true. But also, I didn't see that music hall one you're talking about, but basically since 2003, I have missed very few opportunities to see Connor Oberst.
Yeah.
And I've been on this will be the first year that I haven't seen him in 4 years.
How close have you, so how far did you get on the Lifted track list?
Almost everything. I don't think I've ever heard from a balance beam.
That would be
Yeah.
hard to do, I feel.
Well, so one of the best
Yeah, but
Connor
you'd
Oberst...
feel that way about the calendar hung itself, right? You'd think
Which
that would
I-
be hard to do.
so-
and, yeah, I mean,
I
why is
saw Connor Oberst in Concord. He had 2 drummers, a harp player, all kinds of shit, and he did Sunrise, Sunset, and Calendar Hung Itself, and all these huge songs, and he ended with Let's Not Shit Ourselves. And
Oh,
it
man,
was
I died.
it was
See,
crazy good.
You know what I was going to say was, if you're not going to end this album with Let's Not Shit Ourselves, Laura Laurent would have been a good album ender.
Really?
I think so, because I think I would have liked it
And
better
on a
if it was
little denouement.
Yeah. So, Laura Laurent,
I love at the end when everyone sings, and then Connor goes, "That was really great!"
yeah,
That was really
that's
great.
awesome.
And everyone laughed.
I love the la la la's at the end. That's really beautiful and very classic Connor Oberst.
It also
it's
has,
a great song.
It has
It's just
the,
not.
the one of the most immortal Connor Oberst lyrics ever, which is the ones with the sorest throats who've done the
Oh
most
yes,
singing.
yes, yeah, yeah.
You should never be embarrassed by your trouble with
Actually,
living.
you know, let's bring that up really quick. I want to talk about that really fast.
Okay.
So, Laura Laurent, that whole last. No, I got it right. I had it saved because. All right, so the whole last verse. Well, I think I would call tonight if I still had your number. Your thoughts have always lain close to mine, yet we were both skipping supper. But you should never be embarrassed by your trouble with living, because it's the ones with the sorest throats, Laura, who have done the most singing. Like, oh my God, this fucking guy.
Yeah.
Like, and then he goes into the whole la la la's part, and it's like,
Yeah.
perfect. You are a fucking master songwriter. Like,
That's the thing about la la la's, right? You can only use a la 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 when there's no other words you can say. So
Yeah.
sometimes there are songs that have really great verses, and you're like, well, then the chorus can just be la la la's.
When I like,
What else are you gonna say?
I like that he prefaces it with this whole line about singing, and then all these people
Yeah,
come
and then
in
he goes,
singing.
Everybody!
Yeah. It's really beautiful. That is a great part of this song. I think in general the song is just like, because it's like we've already heard like all of these orchestral parts through this whole album. I just feel like when you get to Laurel and Rent, it's just kind of like a slump.
I agree.
Again, we're talking about a perfect album, so
Yeah.
you can be critical of a perfect album all you want.
All right. So let's talk about maybe the most important song on this album to me.
Yeah.
Which is Let's Not Shit Ourselves to Love and to Be Loved.
Here we go.
Right from the very beginning,
get a goddamn
Can I Get a
Timpani
Goddamn
Roll?
Timpani Roll? I was in love with the song before I even heard it.
Yeah. And then it goes on for 10 more minutes.
And like the opening first verse, animals laugh from the dark of the wilderness, a baby cries hard from an apartment complex. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
There's like
Yeah.
a lot happening in
Yeah.
this. It's like a lot. It's like all the remaining ideas from this album just kind of getting thrown against the wall. And it's big and loud and energetic. There's a part in the middle where it really gets going, and the drums are so big and bouncy. I love it. It's actually, I've seen when he plays it live, it's like
They do
two
the
drummers
two
going,
drummer,
and
yeah.
they're like playing off each other, and it's like, that's the most fun you can have as a drummer, is like playing that song with somebody else. And all those big, like, snare drum, like, like that, those
that stuff
triplet
is
parts.
so good in it.
Oh man, I love it. I love every verse. I love
I know, I love all the
ABC,
verses.
NBC, CBS
man.
bullshit.
Yeah.
So great.
I really like what's the, like, a little bit about how he doesn't read the reviews. No, I'm not singing for you. When he does that, it's like, oh my god!
I like, this is so weird that it's a pre-Nate Walcott album, because there's this trumpet part that goes throughout the whole song, and it's like, it's kind of muted during the, like, it happens during the verse. He's singing like I stood dropping a coin into the well. There's this trumpet part happening in the background. It's so cool, and you're like, I guess to me, like, I was still listening to Green Day back then. So the idea that there could be this much happening,
Yeah.
like because like the chord progression of this song is like, it's kind of like, it's like a Pachelbel's canon kind of chord progression, but there's so many other melodies and stuff happening throughout that I was like, for me it was like I could get it, because it's like G, C, E, A or whatever. It's like I could, as a very lame musician, like I could get the idea of this song, but then there was so much built on top of it that I was like, whoa, this is what you do. It's not about being Eric Clapton. It's about assembly, you know? Like, that's how you create something amazing. It's just like building these layers on top of each other. And that's what I've been doing ever since. I've never gotten very good at anything ever since. Just good enough to make a little layer. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this, but I will always associate this song with Conor Oberst performed at an MTV2 award show. So he played this song. From the video that's available, it very much seems like he played the entire thing and they edited it down to like a 4-minute song, because he's relatively composed at the beginning, and then suddenly he's like off his ass drunk, screaming insane, and he goes running across the floor monitors, and they're all falling, and he almost like falls off the stage. He's like just screaming, and the band is going nuts. Jenny Lewis is on stage with him playing maracas, and she's just like bouncing around playing maracas. The two drummers are going crazy. At one point, someone walks up onto the stage and spits on Conor Oberst. Then someone else walks up on the stage and starts bowing down to him, and it's like, this is just two of his friends that he put up to doing this, like, or something. And it's just a crazy mess, and in my head, I just romanticized the idea of Conor Oberst and all of his friends showing up at the MTV Movie Awards or MTV2 Awards or something and just fucking ruining it by being like, we're gonna just scream about Clear Channel and play a 10-minute song and just break everything.
The bit is that he starts that performance with an like untelevised rant about Clear Channel, right? Like, I think he sets it off by like off camera pissing everybody off before he even starts.
Yes, he was mad that he was there in the first place, I think, because it was like a Clear Channel sponsored event, and at the time, Clear Channel was his mortal enemy, and so he, went on a big long rant about it, then played a very long song, and like destroyed a bunch of equipment and caused a bunch of problems. And I loved that. And I was like, that's what you do. If you ever get the chance to be on MTV, you take it, and then when you get there, you fuck shit up.
You disrupt. Well, and I think that he's always kind of like that. Even by going on Jay Leno and performing When the President Talks to God, like you can clearly tell at the end of the video that Jay Leno is like pretty uncomfortable to have to come up and shake his hand afterwards. You know, like it's like he just is. No matter what way he's going to do it.
How controlled late night shows are. It's so weird that happened. That's a very odd chapter in history. That Conor Oberst was allowed to go on TV in a sequined cowboy suit and sing When the President Talks to God on Jay Leno.
Yeah, I think that's a very strange thing, but I also kind of feel like they probably were like, yeah, it's cool that he's going to do it, but we can't have Jay, like, be all about it when he comes up afterwards, you know? You got to keep your sponsors happy and shit like that. But, like, I'm sure they were in support of him playing it.
Yeah.
'Cause it's not like he says anything too brutal in the song.
No.
I mean, it is a scathing song, but it's not like he, you know, swears and stuff in it.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
I remember also he said something. He sings during that performance. He sang in Arabic at the end.
Yes.
And that was very punk rock at the time.
Well, and I think that was.
It took me a long time to figure out what it meant because I knew people who spoke Arabic at the time, and so he says "fil mishmish."
Yeah.
And nobody knew what it meant.
I don't even remember
It's a
what it
regional
is.
expression. It means like in apricot season, which is like saying like when pigs fly, or like fucking never, basically.
Yeah.
Like, because they're like, you know, in the desert, so they're like, yeah, sure, that'll happen.
Yeah,
when we can grow apricots.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it means.
Huh.
Whoa.
I don't think that now hearing you say that makes me think that I don't think I ever knew that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. What else you got?
Well, like, I guess the big climax of this whole album is, you know, he wakes up in relief, sheets and tubes all tangled, weak from whiskey and pills in a Chicago hospital, which we were saying may or may not be based on real events, like a night that Conor Oberst drank too much and almost died. He has said that happened, but he also said in other interviews that his mom drowned all of his little brothers in a bathtub. So, like, who knows if any of it's true. But, so that whole story and his father being there and like forgiving him, and eventually the whole thing, as he says, like, where was it when I first heard that sweet sound of it came to my ears in the loveliest melody, how grateful I was then to be part of the mystery, to love and to be loved, let's hope that's enough. And like, that's the summation of everything that happens for the rest of the album. And it, at the end of this long album, at the end of this long song, it's a huge, like, Avengers movie kind of emotional climax. Instead of explosions, it's emotions. You know, and it really hits every time.
Yeah. I totally agree. When I heard this song, I remember being in high school and being like, what is this? This is like nothing I've heard. And then being like, how is someone so like, how old was he when he wrote that?
Yeah, I know.
21.
I know.
Right, so it's like, I feel like people go their whole lives trying to figure out what it's all about.
Yeah.
And it's like, here it is, let me just give it to you.
Yeah. And after that, now he's like, he's already like figured out the meaning of life. And now he's just going to build on it with like depth and shading for the rest of his career.
Yeah.
But I also really like when he says, I try to keep up, I've been exchanging my currency. I like that as like a metaphor for like doing emotional work. Like doing an emotional accounting of yourself and figuring out what's important, what's not, like exchanging my currency. I like that. That's something I want to use like when I'm doing that. Like, how you been doing, Zach? No, I'm doing okay, man. I've been exchanging my currency, you know? I'm really figuring it out. It sounds like something that like Ray on Girls would say.
Yeah, the way you said it too.
I was really working on an Alex Karpovsky impression for a while there, and I couldn't get it down. I remember trying to figure out exactly how he talks, because I really like the way he talks, but... Yeah. So, it's... I mean, as if this album would be my favorite album already without that song at the end, but that song is the reason it's going to stay my favorite album for my whole life.
Yeah.
You know, it's the Tangled Up in Blue of this album, the thing that makes it so good, really. And that's the one I would tell people to just listen to. I don't know. Like, that'd be a fun song to start with.
Yeah.
Imagine that being your first Conor Oberst song. Let's not shit ourselves.
I think it would be a good litmus test.
Yeah.
to know.
It's so hard to put that in perspective now because it's like I've gone through my whole life with this guy and he's so different from this album.
Yeah.
You know, like knowing Conor Oberst does not mean that you have to be like diehard about, or even loving Conor Oberst does not mean that you need to be diehard about this album.
Right.
Because I just feel like he's so. You could be like, I hate that whiny bullshit. And I would be like, okay, well, you're fucking crazy. But, like, you could still have that argument and, like, love Conor Oberst.
If you started listening to Conor Oberst after Bright Eyes,
Yeah.
you might have weird feelings about this album. And that wouldn't be a horrible thing.
I don't think it'd even necessarily have to be after Bright Eyes. I think it'd be after Casadega.
Sure.
If you started listening to him at Digital Ash and I'm Wide Awake It's Morning, you might not need to have this album in your.
Oh, I'm sure a lot of people don't.
Yeah.
I'm sure most people. I don't know. I get the feeling people don't listen to this album.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say because it's always been so huge for us.
Yeah.
That I don't know. It's like I feel very sheltered in terms of my love of Lifted. We got to do Triple Spiral.
Oh, okay. Triple Spiral. I didn't prepare it.
So Triple Spiral is when we say what our 3 favorite songs in the album are.
On this
On
album.
this album.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
But it's the whole album. Last time we didn't do it because we were only doing the first part of the album.
I'm going to say that mine are You Will.
That's a good one.
From a Balance Beam, and Let's Not Shit Ourselves. Let's Not Shit Ourselves is number 1.
Yeah.
Those are my 3.
I would say Let's Not Shit Ourselves, Waste of Paint, and From a Balance Beam.
Okay, I'm gonna go From a Balance Beam. It's From a Balance Beam, Bowl of Oranges, and The Big Picture.
Interesting. I like that. Christie's, you said what? False Advertising, Waste of Paint, and what was the third one?
Method acting?
I do like Don't Know When,
but a Day Is Gonna Come.
Maybe
I
it was
like that
Method
song.
Acting. Yeah,
Method acting, I might need to be in there for Bowl of Oranges. Because, I mean, method acting is, I mean, like when we talked about Bookshelf sinks into the sand.
Yeah.
I mean,
Do you have a Triple Spiral, Sarah?
Ooh, that's hard though.
do you need to look at the
No,
album?
you know what? I think it would be Waste of Paint, From a Balance Beam, and then Let's Not Shit Ourselves would be number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
those
there's
are the hits.
There's a big
Are they?
consensus.
Because Lover, I
behind
don't
it.
Lover,
have to love
Love
is the one we
is the
haven't
hit.
talked about.
That's
and
Yeah,
right.
that's true.
feel like that one is the one that everyone loves.
Yeah,
that's
I
true.
feel like that's the one that everybody knows as like default.
Yes.
Yeah. And yeah, we in the last episode we did the first couple
Okay,
tracks of
okay,
the album.
gotcha.
But yeah, but as far as that song goes, that's the song I've heard Conor Oberst play live like the most.
Yeah.
He does that song every time.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I thought like it's weird that he it's weird that he still does it. It's funny because of all the singles that he could keep playing, he keeps playing that song. My theory is he likes playing the keyboard part. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we did it. We talked about Lifted.
Yeah, we did.
So thank you, Paige, for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Christy and Sarah and Arlo and Shosh for also being here and for being the spiritual support of the episode.
Yes.
And, thank you to everybody who listens and who talks to us on Twitter about it. It's awesome.
So, for your listening pleasure,
Yeah.
for the next episode, we're going to do Every Day and Every Night.
Yep.
Which, by the way, came out in 1999.
It's a good year.
And
Good
then
vintage.
there's No Beginning to the Story from 2002.
Yeah.
There's No Beginning to the Story is very much the single kind of
It's the
B-sides
EP that
of
preceded
this,
Lifted.
of
Yeah.
this album. Yeah.
But there's some great songs on there, so I
Yeah.
can't wait to dig into those.
There's No Beginning to the Story is really what I want to talk about in that bunch because there are some very important tracks to me in my whole life. In that.
The Righteous TV Season 1 theme song is on that album. So, yeah, it goes deep. So, all right. Well, I never know what to say at the end of these episodes. Goodbye.